Captain Ryan Hale had learned to live with silence, the kind that hums through metal corridors and echoes off steel walls. On Outpost Solace 9, far beyond Mars, silence was his only company. The station orbited a dying sun, collecting data no one really cared about anymore. The warmth outside was fading, and sometimes it felt like the warmth inside him was too. He had been alone for 63 days. His last human transmission had been a short, glitching voice file from command. Routine check, Hale. Keep the sensors running. Then static. After that, nothing but cold air and empty halls. Every night he wrapped himself in thermal sheets, listening to the soft hum of oxygen pumps. It was a ritual. Heat on, lights dimmed, close eyes pretend he wasn't just a man waiting to be forgotten. But on the 64th night, something changed. Ryan woke to a sound. Not an alarm, not the usual hum, it was a whisper. Soft, trembling carried through the recycled air. He sat up, blinking. The temperature had dropped sharply. Frost gathered along the corners of his desk. His breath fogged the air like smoke. Then, the door to his cabin slid open with a hiss. A figure stepped in. Slow, shivering, barefoot. At first, he thought it was a hallucination. Isolation sickness was common in deep space. But the figure's shadow moved across the floor, real and heavy. She was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Her skin glowed faintly blue, as if moonlight had soaked into her veins. Her eyes shimmered like frozen glass, full of fear and exhaustion. She was trembling violently, her lips pale and cracked from cold. Ryan stood frozen. Who are you?" he whispered. She looked up at him, her voice thin and cracked like breaking ice. "I need your warmth," she said. Before he could react, she staggered forward. Her hands touched his chest, and cold, almost burning in reverse. Her body felt like stone at first, then slowly softened as she pressed against him. She slid under his thermal sheets as if she'd done it 1,000 times before, curling close, shaking uncontrollably. Ryan's heart pounded. Every instinct told him to pull away. But her trembling felt desperate, not dangerous. So he didn't move. He just lay there, feeling her cold seep into him. Feeling the air itself grow heavier, her head rested on his chest, her breath shallow. "Please," she whispered again. "Don't tell anyone. I can't stay in the cold anymore." He swallowed hard. He didn't know what to say. He didn't even know what she was. Her skin pulsed faintly, threads of light spreading under the surface like veins of gold and frost mixed together. For a moment it was silent again. Only the hum of the life support system and her fragile breathing filled the space. Then slowly her shaking stopped. Her glow warmed from icy blue to a soft pale gold. The frost on his desk began to melt. Ryan realized something strange. His own body temperature was dropping, but she was getting warmer. She wasn't just seeking warmth. She was absorbing it. Her fingers tightened slightly against his arm, like a child afraid of the dark. Then she whispered one last time, voice faint but steady. "Thank you, human." And before he could ask more, she was gone. Just gone. As if she had melted into the air itself. The sheets were cold again. The door was closed. The cabin lights flickered twice and stabilized. The digital clock read 0312. His heartbeat thundered in his chest. Ryan sat there for hours, staring at the empty space beside him. The smell of ozone lingered in the air, and on his chest, where her hand had rested, the skin felt numb yet faintly warm inside. When he finally checked the security feed in the morning, it showed nothing. No door opening. No life signs. Just Ryan sleeping, then sitting upright in panic at 0312. He stared at the screen for a long time. He wanted to believe it was a dream. But deep down he knew better. Something and someone had been there, and she had whispered like her life depended on it. "I need your warmth." That was the night Captain Ryan Hale stopped sleeping easily. Because even in the heart of cold, silent space, something had found him, and it knew exactly where to return. The next morning, Captain Ryan Hale woke with a headache and a chill that clung to his bones. The air recyclers hummed softly, and thin frost coated the window. He rubbed his hands together, trying to bring back warmth. But no matter how much he tried, the cold stayed inside him, not outside, inside. He checked the airlock logs again. No entry, no exit, no breach. His base's system was clean, perfect, and silent, just like every day before. Ryan leaned back in his chair, eyes staring at the monitor's blue glow. So, a dream, he muttered, though even as he said it, he didn't believe it. He could still feel the shape of her hand pressed to his chest. He could still hear the faint trembling whisper, "I need your warmth." He tried to work, scanning solar data, adjusting the heat regulators, sending useless reports back to command. But every small sound made him turn. Every whisper of air felt like her breath again. The loneliness of space had always been heavy, but now it was worse. Because now he wasn't sure if he was truly alone. That night Ryan couldn't sleep. He sat awake, staring at the door, half hoping, half dreading what might happen. He told himself he was being foolish. Hallucinations were normal after months of isolation. But then at 03:12 again the lights flickered, and there she was. The air shimmered, and the same glowing figure stepped through the door like mist given form. She was shaking badly this time, her color dimmer than before. Her lips were pale blue, and her breath came in fast, shallow bursts. Ryan rose slowly. "You came back," he whispered. She nodded weakly. "The cold? It's spreading faster now." Without waiting, she slid into his sheets again, curling tightly against him. Her skin was ice cold and colder than last time. It hurt to touch, but he didn't push her away. He just wrapped his arms around her, feeling her trembling ease little by little. "You're real," he said quietly. Her eyes opened, bright but sad. "I didn't want you to see me again. My kind was not meant to be seen by yours." Ryan frowned. "Your kind?" She hesitated. Her fingers traced his wrist, leaving faint lines of light like frost trails. "We live in warmth. We travel between suns. When your people came, you took the light from this system. You built engines that drank the fire from our star. And the light we needed, it died." Ryan's chest tightened. "The mining stations," he said softly. "The plasma harvesters. We didn't know." Her eyes closed. "I know, you didn't mean to. But now I'm the last spark." Silence filled the room. The only sound was the slow hum of the heaters, struggling to keep the air warm. Ryan wanted to speak, to say something human, something kind. But the words caught in his throat. He could feel her heartbeat now, faint but steady, syncing with his own. She was absorbing his heat again, but this time he didn't fight it. He let her take what she needed. "You can stay," he whispered finally. "If this place keeps you alive, I'll help." Her eyes flickered open, golden light reflecting in them now. She looked up at him with a mixture of gratitude and sorrow. "You shouldn't," she said. "Your people will not forgive what you protect." Ryan smiled weakly. "Let them try." She studied his face as if memorizing it. "You're different," she murmured. "Warmth feels alive with you. It remembers." Her words lingered in his ears long after she faded again. When he woke, the frost was gone from the walls. The base temperature had risen by 2 degrees. Impossible for a system that never changed. He checked the logs once more. Again, nothing. But this time, on the inner window of his cabin, Frost had drawn faint symbols, delicate curved marks glowing softly. He traced them with his finger, realizing they formed a single phrase written in a language not his own. And yet, somehow he understood it. "Thank you for the warmth." Ryan sat there for a long time, staring at the words until they melted away. Something deep inside him stirred. Guilt, awe, and something else he hadn't felt in months. Connection. The vast cold of space no longer felt empty. It felt like someone out there was reaching back, someone who remembered his warmth. For 3 nights, Captain Ryan Hale waited. He didn't sleep, didn't eat properly. Every time the clock hit 03:12, his heart began to race. Sometimes the lights flickered. Sometimes they didn't. But each night he left the bed open, the room warm and the heater turned high, waiting for her. On the 4th night she came again. This time she wasn't trembling. Her glow was soft like candlelight through glass. She looked stronger, but her eyes were distant, full of sadness that no warmth could melt. Ryan sat up slowly as she appeared. "You came back." She nodded, her voice softer now. "Your warmth kept me alive." "It still does." He wanted to ask her name, but before he could, she placed a hand on his chest. A spark of gold light moved from her fingers into his skin. He felt it, like a pulse, slow and gentle, not painful but strange. "What was that?" he asked. "A memory," she whispered. "So you will understand." And suddenly images flashed in his mind. fragments of another world. He saw oceans of liquid light, creatures made of soft energy drifting between glowing trees. He saw her people, tall and radiant, basking under a golden sun that never set. Then he saw fire, machines, human mining ships, piercing their skies, draining their sun's energy. The light dimmed. The oceans froze. Her people fell silent, their glow fading one by one until only darkness remained. Ryan gasped and fell back. His eyes were wide, heart pounding. We did that? She looked away, her voice trembling. You didn't mean to. You were searching for energy, for survival, but your machines took everything from us. I was far from home when it happened. When I returned, I found only silence. And cold. Ryan swallowed hard. The images haunted him. The way her world had died, not through war, not through hate, but through ignorance. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. And now you hide in human bases. Trying to survive, she shook her head gently. There are no others to hide. Only me. Her voice cracked on the last word. And for a moment, the strong glow around her dimmed again. She looked so small, so fragile. Not some strange alien. Not a creature from a myth, but a lonely being clinging to the last bit of warmth in a universe that had forgotten her. Ryan reached out without thinking and held her hand. It was cold, but the light beneath her skin brightened at his touch. You're not alone anymore, he said quietly. She looked at him, truly looked. And for the first time, her expression softened. You speak like the old stars, she said. They used to whisper the same thing, that light never dies. It only moves, Ryan smiled faintly. Then I'll keep your light moving. For a few long minutes they sat there in silence. Her warmth began to spread again, filling the room with a soft golden glow. Ryan could feel it deep inside him, not just heat but something more. Comfort, life. But then, she stiffened suddenly, her eyes wide. They're watching, she whispered. Ryan frowned. Who? The machines you built. The ones that breathe cold. They sense me. He turned toward the window. The sensors were blinking red. Motion outside the base. Drones. Federation drones, scanning for heat anomalies. Her voice grew faint. If they find me, they'll end it. They'll take your warmth too. Ryan's chest tightened. No, I won't let them. She touched his face gently, her fingers glowing brighter now. You can't fight them, human. But you can choose. If I leave, they will not know. You will live. And you? He asked, her eyes glimmered. I will fade. Ryan shook his head firmly. Then we'll find another way. Her glow flickered again, uncertain. You would risk everything. For a dying light? He looked straight at her. It's not dying. Not while I'm here. Her lips curved slightly, the first real smile he had seen from her. Then maybe warmth still remembers kindness. The alarm lights outside flashed brighter. The sound of metal claws scraping the hull echoed through the corridor. Drones were closing in. Ryan stood, hand gripping hers tightly. Stay close. We're not finished yet. And for the first time since she'd found him, she didn't vanish when the danger came. She stood beside him, glowing softly, her light and his courage burning together in the dark. Because in that frozen, forgotten corner of the galaxy, two lonely beings had just made a promise that warmth would fight back. 3 days passed since the power surge. 3 long, silent days. Captain Ryan Hale repaired what he could of the systems. The base was half frozen, the heating lines damaged from the overload. His breath came out in small clouds and every touch of metal stung his skin. But what hurt most wasn't the cold. It was her absence. Every night, he waited. He left the sheets open, left the lights dimmed, hoping she would slide in again, whispering those same words. But the night stayed empty. No glow, no whisper. Only the hollow sound of a man waiting for someone who might never return. He thought maybe she was gone forever. Until the 4th night, when the alarm screamed. Red lights flashed across the corridor, and the base shook with heavy footsteps. Federation soldiers. Ryan's blood ran cold. He rushed to the main console. Messages poured through the comms. Unauthorized energy signature confirmed. Prepare for containment. They had traced her. Somehow they'd found the energy burst from the overload, and now they were here to take her. Ryan stood frozen for a second, heart pounding. He wanted to deny it, but deep down he knew they were right. She was near. She had come back. The cabin door slid open slightly. A faint golden light spilled in, soft as dawn. Ryan, her voice trembled, weak but real. She was standing in the doorway, thinner now, her glow faint and fading. He ran to her immediately. "You came back." "I couldn't stay away," she whispered. "But they followed me." "I didn't mean to bring them." Ryan shook his head. "Don't talk. We'll get out." "There's a maintenance shuttle." "No," she interrupted gently. "You can't. They will destroy this place before you escape." The pounding of boots echoed closer. Ryan looked toward the corridor. The soldiers were sealing off each section, moving toward his cabin. He turned back to her. "Then we'll hide you." She smiled sadly. "You still don't understand. I can't hide anymore. They've learned my heat signature. They will find me anywhere." He clenched his fists. "Then I'll fight them." Her eyes softened, glowing like melted gold. "You would fight your own kind for me again?" "I already did," he said quietly. She stepped closer, her hand brushing his cheek. The touch was cool, almost soothing. "You have such fire inside," she whispered. "No wonder your kind took the stars. But fire can burn what it loves too." He grabbed her hand, holding it tightly, then let it burn for something good. Outside, the first explosion rocked the base. The walls trembled. Alarms wailed. Through the shattered comms, Ryan heard a voice shouting, "Target located." "Terminate heat source." He spun to face the door. His sidearm lay on the desk. Standard issue, low plasma charge. It wouldn't stop soldiers, but it could by seconds. And seconds might be enough. He turned back to her. "Stay behind me," but she shook her head. "No, you've given enough warmth. Now I must give something back." Before he could stop her, she moved forward, touching the floor with both hands. Golden light burst outward, flooding the cabin, racing along the metal walls like living fire. The soldiers at the door froze. The scanners went dead. Their weapons jammed, systems short-circuited by the sudden surge. Ryan shielded his eyes as the light grew brighter. "What are you doing?" he shouted. Her voice came through the brightness, soft, calm, full of peace. "They can't hurt you if they can't find you." "I will take the warmth with me." "All of it." "No." Ryan reached out, but the light was too strong. It burned without pain, surrounding everything in gold, and then silence. When he opened his eyes, she was gone. The cabin was dark again, but warm, warmer than it had ever been. The alarms were dead. The soldiers were gone. The screens showed nothing but static. On the wall, written in faint glowing frost, were her last words. "Your warmth saved me. My light will protect you." Ryan sank to his knees, his breath shaking. He touched the message, and for the first time in days, he felt tears slip down his cheeks. Outside, through the viewport, a golden wave rippled across the asteroid field, her final light spreading into space, burning softly like a sunrise in the dark. He whispered to the empty air, "You didn't fade. You just became the warmth." And for a brief, beautiful moment, the cold universe seemed alive again. The base was silent. Not the cold kind of silence, but the deep, heavy kind that presses against the chest, the kind that comes after something sacred has ended. Captain Ryan Hale sat on the floor of his quarters, staring at the faint glow still lingering on the wall. The words she left behind were fading now, but he couldn't bring himself to wipe them away. "Your warmth saved me. My light will protect you." He whispered the words again and again, like a prayer. Every time he said them, he felt her, faintly, softly, like the ghost of a heartbeat against his skin. Outside, the asteroid field glimmered faint gold. The scanners were dead, but the atmosphere had stabilized. The radiation was gone. It was as if her final act had purified everything around him. She was gone, but she had left warmth behind. And that warmth had changed him. When rescue ships finally arrived, Ryan was still sitting in the same place. His hair was messy, eyes hollow, but his pulse was calm. The medics couldn't understand what they were seeing. All power systems were fried. Communication arrays melted, but somehow the life support and thermal control were stable, perfectly stable. "Captain Hale," one of them asked, "how did you survive for 3 days without power?" He smiled faintly. "I wasn't alone." They looked at him strangely, but he didn't explain. He couldn't. No one would believe him if he did. As the rescue shuttle carried him away, he looked out at the asteroid field one last time. A soft golden shimmer floated through the dark, like dust in sunlight. He pressed his palm to the glass. "Goodbye," he whispered, but deep down he knew she wasn't truly gone. Days passed aboard the rescue carrier. Ryan couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt a strange warmth in his chest, a quiet pulse that didn't belong to him. At first, he thought it was stress or trauma, but then it started to glow. Late one night, as he sat alone in the dark of his cabin, he noticed a faint golden light under his skin. It moved slowly, like liquid sunlight, tracing the shape of his veins. He froze. His breath caught in his throat. He touched his chest, and it was warm. Not from fever, not from fear. From something living inside him, and then he heard it, her voice, soft, whispering, "Don't be afraid." "I'm here," he gasped and looked around. The room was empty. But the warmth inside him deepened, wrapping around his heart like gentle hands. "You survived," he whispered. "I told you," her voice replied, tender and fading like a memory. "My light will protect you." He felt tears rising again, but this time they weren't from sorrow. It was peace, quiet, pure peace. She had merged with him. Her energy, her essence, whatever she truly was, had become part of him. Weeks later, Ryan was discharged from service. Officially, the report called it an anomaly of unknown origin. Unofficially, they suspected radiation. But Ryan knew the truth. He didn't return to Earth. Instead, he asked for assignment on a deep space patrol, far from the core worlds, where the stars burned clear and silence still lived between them. Every night he looked at the stars, and sometimes when the ship drifted between systems, he felt her again, that same warmth sliding through his chest, that same soft whisper brushing his thoughts. "You still keep me close," she would murmur. "Always," he'd answer quietly. Other crewmen thought he talked in his sleep. They didn't know that he was talking to light. To her one night, as the patrol ship neared an uncharted nebula, Ryan noticed something strange. A signal flickering faintly through the static, golden pulses, rhythmic, almost alive. He leaned forward, eyes widening. The pattern was familiar. It was her heartbeat. He smiled, not in shock, not in fear, but with quiet joy. "You're still out there, aren't you?" he whispered. And for just a moment, the golden light inside his chest pulsed in perfect sync with the signal. Warm, steady, alive. Ryan closed his eyes and smiled at the stars. She was gone, yes, but never truly lost. Her warmth had become a part of him, and maybe, just maybe, that was what love meant between their kinds. Not possession, not promises, but light shared in the dark. As the ship drifted on, a faint whisper echoed through the comms, soft as breath. "Sleep, Ryan. You're never alone." And for the first time since the night she vanished, he slept peacefully, his heart glowing softly, like a small star in the dark. Years passed. The stars changed, but Captain Ryan Hale did not. His hair turned silver and his hands grew slower, yet the warmth inside him never faded. The golden glow still lived beneath his skin, softer now, calmer, like a heartbeat that had learned to rest. He had left the fleet long ago, choosing to live on a quiet outpost orbiting the edge of a dying sun. Few came there, and those who did found an old man who smiled at the stars as if they were old friends. Sometimes, young explorers would ask him why he stayed so far from home. Ryan would only smile and say, "Because someone I love lives out there." And she still listens, they laughed, thinking it was just a story. But the old man's eyes glowed faintly gold when he said it. One night, the outpost trembled. The dying sun outside began to shudder and dim. Its fire was fading faster than the readings predicted. The scientists panicked. If the sun went dark, the whole region would freeze. Billions of lives on nearby colonies would vanish in the cold. Ryan watched from the window, silent and still. His heart was heavy, but deep inside he felt that same familiar whisper he hadn't heard in years. "Ryan." His breath caught. The voice was faint, trembling like starlight. The warmth, you kept it alive. He closed his eyes, tears filling them. "You're still here," he whispered. "Always," she replied softly. "But I am fading again. The light around us is dying. I can feel it." He turned toward the sun, weak and pale now, its surface cracking under magnetic storms. "There must be a way," he said, voice shaking. "I can give it back to you. The warmth. Take it, take what I have left." "If I take it, you'll die," she whispered. He smiled faintly. Then let me die warm. You gave me your light once. Let me return it. Silence stretched between them, and then he felt her again. Her presence. Her touch. Like the first night she had appeared in his quarters long ago, sliding under his sheets, trembling, whispering that she needed his warmth. This time, he didn't hold her to comfort her. He held her to say goodbye. Are you sure? She asked, her voice barely a breath. He nodded. It's time, Solara. Her name slipped from his lips like sunlight. He had never said it before, but somehow he had always known. The air shimmered around him. Golden light filled the room, wrapping around his body, bright and pure. His old hands glowed like fire. His heart felt lighter than it ever had. Thank you, Ryan, she whispered. Your warmth will become the dawn, he smiled. Then, it was worth it. The scientists outside the chamber watched in disbelief as the dying sun suddenly blazed brighter than ever. Solar flares erupted like wings of gold, pushing the darkness back. In the middle of that fire, the outpost vanished, consumed in a burst of light. When the flares faded, the sun burned steady again, stable, alive, and from its heart, strange patterns of golden light began to appear, spirals, like gentle handwriting across the star's surface. One astronomer captured the image before it faded. The writing was faint but clear enough to read. He gave his warmth. I give the light back. The image spread across the colonies like a miracle. No one knew who had done it. But a story began, of a man who once loved something not human, and gave his life to save a son. Many years later, explorers passing near that same star reported something strange. When their ships drifted too close, their hulls warmed gently, not from radiation, but from something softer, a warmth that felt alive, a whisper that said, "Stay safe, traveler. It's cold out there." And in the faint static of their radios, another voice, and deeper human, would sometimes answer, "Still keeping the light, my love." No one ever found the source. But the people who heard it never forgot. They called that system Hale's Light. A star born from warmth, and a love that refused to freeze. Even now, deep in the void, the light still burns, soft, golden, eternal. It's said that if you stand beneath it and close your eyes, you can feel what Ryan once gave her. A simple human heartbeat, warm, steady, alive. And if you listen closely, you might hear her voice, gentle as breath. He kept me warm, now I keep them all. End of story. Humanity, after all, was never just about surviving the cold, but about sharing the warmth.